Denmo.
The king in the north!
Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Jack Denmo Show. Before doing anything, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new here, we have brand new episodes every single week. So do the boys a solid and hit the like button, drop a comment for the algorithm so that the more people that comment and like this, the more it gets recommended and other people get to see it. Today I'm joined by Todd Shapiro.
Hey, Jack. How are you, bud?
Good, man. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I appreciate it. First off, I got to tell you, I'm really sorry to hear about your mother.
Thank you.
That's because I just watched a few things. Didn't know a ton about you. Saw some of your street stuff and everything. That's fucking tragic, man. Are you holding up okay?
Oh yeah. It's
Are
weird.
you really holding up okay? Or are you just saying you're holding up okay?
No, well, what happens is when that happens, you are ready for it in a way. You have to kind of be able to deal with it when it does happen. You don't think you're able to, but then once it happens, you just kind of snap into it in a weird way. It's like
I guess you kind of have to.
There's an old saying, Peterson, he said that you only become a man when your dad passes away, because then you fill his shoes and then you are the head of the family in the bloodline, right? So yeah, obviously it was really rough, but basically you kind of, your body just snaps into okay, well now I have to crisis control, right?
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have a sister. She has 3 sisters and brothers. My Nana's still alive. So there was a lot of people, but I had to be me, my father, and my sister, we had to be the ones running everything.
And it was sudden, right?
Yeah, heart attack. Yeah.
Was she double vaxxed?
Yeah, she was vaxxed and everything. Yeah.
Was it? Do you think there was correlation of the vax and the heart stuff, or?
Yeah, I saw some stuff about certain people getting vaccinated and then they have heart attacks, but she did have heart issues in the past. So. Okay. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but I know that she did have hard things in the past, but she was very healthy. She was working out, she was eating good. It's just really random overnight.
Was she proud of your work? Did she
Yeah,
she was she was comfortable
proud
with it?
Oh yeah.
Because you're out there, right? It's you worry about what a mother would think. George Carlin tells a story that his mother didn't approve of anything he did until one day George was walking by. He went to the school where there were nuns, and the nuns. He was older at this point, and he was doing stand up and doing all those dirty word bits and everything. And the nuns had given him basically approval, saying he's using the dirty words in the right way, to create a message. And once he did that, his mother was then oh, okay, I approve of my son now. It's all right. So it took religion to make his mom like his routine, but that was nice. Your mom liked your stuff.
Yeah, she was a teacher, and then my whole family were very conservative, and they were all teachers. And sometimes I forget that people older than me were once my age. So I always had this idea that my whole family was totally pure and different than me. But, obviously they used to party and do not the same extent of stuff I do. I'm kind of crazy. But, they're all very university educated. So I had a lot of pressure to be a teacher and go into that kind of sector of work. But, yeah, it took her years for her to, be you know what? He doesn't need to go to university. He could just do his own thing.
So you never went to university?
No.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Just did your own thing?
Yeah, I did a program that has a transfer. So I graduated Mohawk. I have a couple different diplomas.
Sure. And
they can turn into degrees because I have most of the credits, but YouTube just took off. So
yeah, you don't need the credits, man. It's funny, sort of jumping to me here because you haven't even asked me a question yet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You just started talking. It's almost like you used to do this, buddy.
Yeah, that's the problem. Sorry, but I went to York, got a BA in sociology. I literally don't remember 1 second of that.
What is sociology?
Sorry,
what is sociology?
I don't remember 1 second of it. I remember sitting on a yellow newspaper box in this main sort of hall there. I forget what it's called. I don't even remember that. And that's where I got my degree in. But then when I went to radio school, TV and radio, I ended up choosing a radio stream, and I never got my degree in college.
You just didn't pick it up? Or?
No, what happened was I had this script writing teacher named Michael Monty. And we had to write a script, a movie script, as part of one of the courses.
Yeah.
And at the time, I got an internship at 102.1 The Edge, which was a radio station. I worked with Humble and Fred.
Oh, yeah.
And Humble did these things called the Humble Report. And he would tell jokes and then push a button on the old radio does, the Humble Report. And I was just an intern of like a room full of interns. And I mean, I was just begging to get like some sort of notice, to be honest. And I started writing him jokes, like these humble reports. So I went to my teacher at the time to say, like, I've never written a joke in my life, but I wanted attention on the radio show. So I asked that script writing teacher, instead of focusing my efforts on script writing, which is something I never want to fucking do. Like, why don't I just focus on creative writing, joke writing, which is like something that's going to hopefully help me in my radio career, because I'm not a script writer. I don't want to be the next Quentin Tarantino.
And did they let you?
So at the time he said, do it. That's no problem. And then when it came to graduation, I had this, oh man, I wish I remembered his name. It's been a very long day for me, by the way. It's been a very long week.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what's his name? Judd, someone, the head of the program, wouldn't approve my jokes in lieu of the script writing, so he wouldn't give me that degree.
Whoa.
Yeah, but I was like, I think I made the most money for sure of anyone in that class ever.
Wow.
So it's okay, it didn't matter. That's what I'm saying, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Wait, what school is this?
That was Seneca at York.
York's not even a real university.
Yeah, well, York, not at all. That was the one you got in if you had
the fucking mailman goes to York.
Another George Carlin joke. He's like, the education's so bad, like to get into university, all you need is a pencil.
Yeah.
So that's
York, you need a laptop. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking, you know what's funny? Every podcast we do, we shit on York pretty much.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I graduated York in like 92-ish, and then Seneca at York, never graduated. But yeah.
York's basically a college.
It's a shame. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. York, so I used to film pranks at like every university in Ontario before I got banned from them. Never got banned from York, but the distinctive difference between York from every other school was that everybody there smoked. There was just smoking pits everywhere. And everybody there was like, your age, like in their 40s.
They're old.
Yeah.
They're perverted.
Old people smoking. Bunch of old smoking perverts.
It's like Matthew McConaughey in Dazed and Confused, like just hanging out at York.
Yeah. Just York is just, they never grew up. They never got out.
I didn't notice that about York when I was there, but then again, I sat on the yellow box. And
I feel like everybody smoked probably back then. Eh?
There's a lot of smokers when I grew up, man.
Yeah.
I'm 48, born in 73. Like, we were smoking darts at like 12, 13 the odd time.
Damn.
Yeah. And I remember we had a neighbor named Brian, and Brian would give us, I won't say his last name in case he's like successful these days or something, but he would like sell 13-year-old cigarettes. Like, so it's just mean.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he would like go to the store, and then he would like completely upcharge us on darts.
How much was a dart?
At the time, a pack would have been only $3-4. I heard packs are a lot now. I don't smoke.
Yeah, dude, I don't smoke either, but packs are like $20.
$20 for smokes.
Even with inflation, it would work out to being 10.
So like you're really paying to get cancer. Like, it's wild.
Dude, well, the government's taking all that money.
I see, for the tax dollars.
Yeah, tax dollars.
Well, to get you later for the free healthcare when you get the cancer.
See, what's interesting is I don't know if they put that tax on vapes. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, because vape. I don't know if you know that, Dan. The fucking vapes and.
The vape.
Yeah, because vaping is basically like it's nicotine. So they put the little pod there, and you put the pod in.
Yeah, and like a lot of youth are doing. I had kids late. I have a 6 and a 2-year-old, Jack, but my buddies who are all my age have like now 17, 18-year-olds, and they're like,
you're pumping in your 40s having kids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I started in the 40s. Yeah.
Nice.
I was going. Yeah, my wife.
Well, that's what's great about being a dude. Yeah. We can pump till like 70. Still have kids, but women, they have to have a kid by like 33, 34.
No, I knew a lady. She was 87. Had a kid. It's crazy.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Damn. What happened to the kid though?
It's perfect. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
An 87-year-old had a kid?
Yeah. No, it's like completely. No. But ladies can, like, all the love to the ladies. Honest to God, dude.
Yeah.
They are, when you see a woman go through childbirth, like my wife did. Mm-hmm. I have a great story. I don't know if I should share it.
How old was she when she gave birth?
She's 36 now, so 30 and 34.
Buddy, yeah. Mint. Perfect time.
I think so, yeah. Well, and she's strong, Russian, like gymnast.
Oh, yeah. They're built for it.
She's an amazing lady.
Yeah, I think the peak age to have a child is like 22 or something.
Is that that's like medieval times? Like, you had to, because you died.
That's old for medieval times.
Oh yeah. That's
medieval times. It's as soon as a man can get a boner, and as soon as a kid can, like 13,
it's
14,
weird
15.
to think about. I know, like, you gotta. Yeah. Listen, I'm a CEO of a publicly traded company, so the old Todd would have run with this stuff, but I'm careful with this stuff.
But the medieval ages, things were different. I don't. You know what? I like it the way we have it now.
I think it's a good system.
I think it's a good system we have now.
Yeah.
But, we are animals at the end of the day. Like, that's how it used to work, right?
Well, yeah, it is weird to think of it that way. But yes, when your life expectancy was 37, 38.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. We used to die young.
We used to die very young.
That would have had to suck, though. Like, they literally had to reproduce to survive. Like we had, we got to like live a bit, we got to have our teens, our 20s, 30s, even into the 40s.
Sure, yeah, it's brutal.
But back then, it's like as soon as you can, you have to have a kid, you have to have cattle, you have to work the farm.
You got to build whatever you can build, and you might die fighting.
Yeah,
like you know, someone might just like clob you with some fucking ancient, like spiky. What are those things called? I'm thinking of.
Like a mallet?
Yeah. Anything, dude.
Or a spear?
Just a fist. Oh, I would hate to go by a spear.
Or like a shank?
Like you think about it for a while.
Knife.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing too. Like at any point you could be doing a trade. Like, yeah, I'll give you, 5 halibut for your sheep. And then you just get fucking shanked.
It's true. Gold was wearable money. That's what gold was, right?
Yeah.
The reason why gold was jewelry wasn't to look good. It was to travel to places, to get those goats, and then to give your offering of gold. You would take it off. So, you didn't really have pockets or backpacks. You always do stuff with backpacks, actually, I noticed.
Backpacks are the best.
You're a backpack guy.
I love I brought my backpack today.
Yeah. What's it? Nice backpack or an old backpack?
Yeah, it's a nice one. I used to use it when I worked for the M&R. It's covered in fucking dirt and char and coal.
Ministry of Natural Resources.
Yeah.
What did you do for them?
Forest firefighter.
Oh, that's beautiful, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Got to travel Canada and put out fires.
Wow, man. Yeah. That's tough work.
Yeah.
I admire the hell out of you for doing that, honest to God.
One time a guy fixed one of my guitar amplifiers, and he looked me up on Facebook, and he's like, oh, you worked as a forest firefighter? Like, you're a hero. It's 50% off. And I was like, dude, well, I put out some fire. I'm not a hero,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the second time somebody's commemorated before. Oh, well, I mean, every time there's a fire, if it gets out of control, it displaces not only animals but also humans. And if it spreads, it can kill a fuckload of wildlife.
Oh.
So yeah, like probably. I mean, yeah, for sure.
But you didn't like grab one day like it was like half burning.
Oh no.
And you should tell that story anyway.
No, you don't have to worry about the animals during forest fires.
They know where to go.
Yeah, because they already know. Like
they're
they see it
sensing
coming,
it, they're
they
smelling
smell it. Yeah, they're out of there. When we would always go into the fires, there'd be no animals there. There'd just be bugs.
That is wild. We
became the animals, so there'd just be bugs on our fucking faces everywhere. Dude, one time I had 20. What are those annoying ass little bugs?
Mosquitoes?
No, not mosquitoes. Well, yeah,
ticks. Ticks are bad, dude.
Everywhere. You don't even feel them.
Ooh,
I had fucking ticks in my armpit.
There?
Oh, everywhere, bro.
Testicles? Because they like to go, honestly.
Dude, where it's heat.
Yeah,
heat.
Yeah, and you can't find them, like in crevices.
Ticks
honestly.
on my fucking balls, dude.
Oh, juice.
Bro, it's awful, man. You don't feel them.
Yeah.
You don't feel them. You don't know they're there. Just ticks all over my fucking body. Tick me off.
I had to laugh.
That's why we need the soundboard.
yeah. But fucking, so I did that for a while. But same thing with, do you remember that big tsunami that hit in Asia 2004?
Yeah, man.
It was Thailand. The scientists.
Indonesia and Thailand like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the day before, all the animals were gone.
They knew.
From the woods. And they're like, this is kind of weird.
Wow.
Why are all these animals gone?
Was it seismic activity or something?
Yeah, there's like a vibration. They could just tell.
Listen, I love my foreshadowing and forethought animals. I just think they're great.
Right.
Anytime I don't see animals, I hide in safe places.
You don't
in the
like
mountains.
animals, eh?
No, I love animals, but if I don't see any, I just go I think something's happening. I hid out for 2 years once because I didn't see an animal. So.
Oh, you were like, this is weird.
Yeah, I'm out.
True.
It was a bad joke.
Gotcha. Okay.
Friday night. Can we tell people we're recording on a Friday night at like 9 o'clock?
It's a Friday. It's Friday night.
Because that's insane.
I know.
Like I should be like reading a book to my 6-year-old right now.
Yeah, that's true. Well, this is priorities, right?
Yeah, or like taking out some bankers or something, one or the other.
Yeah.
I like this.
Working.
I love doing this stuff, man. You've created this great following. And you're out there, man. Like you're out there. Like you said, you didn't get banned from York, but yeah, for sure you'd get banned from campuses. Like this, there's such a woke, sensitive culture these days.
Yeah.
When you try to have fun with people freak out. They don't have fun anymore. But you're proving that it can still be done. I like to see that.
It's crazy, man. Like the last time I got banned was for getting a virgin a haircut.
That's it. How'd you know they were virgins? Though I see you do the virgin bits. You're helping a lot of virgins.
So we created this series where we take virgins to the club, but then it evolved into a series where like we just take them and teach them social skills, give them like a makeover, haircut, all that.
So and that's because you have all the talent in the world to give them that advice.
Well, at first it was just a comedy idea.
Yeah.
But then so what I did. So for years I've been doing these prank videos, and a lot of the prank videos are like pickup lines. You go and say a funny pickup line to a girl, get her phone number. Unintentionally, through doing all this, basically a lot of the people that watched originally for humor, they started to learn social skills.
Nice.
Through the videos. And there's a huge demand for it, because I'd be like, hey, like what do you guys want to see? And they're like, yo, like do more videos talking to girls And then basically I got it to a point where I was doing drunk interviews, and I'm like, okay, I'll do a video asking, you know, what's the best advice for a virgin? People really liked that video. And I was like, man, what if I took a virgin to the club, gave them like full makeover, did some challenges with them, and then brought them out, and then we had them host, and it was like this huge celebration. Dude, it took off. It's like an 1.5 hour long movie, and it's got like 3 million views.
Great.
But anyways, so we started doing the Virgin series, but you know what Hokos are, eh?
I don't.
You don't know Hokos?
No.
Oh,
I'm
man.
glad I don't.
Okay. So
I already know I'm glad.
Well, tell them the full name, not just the
yeah,
abbreviation.
Homecoming.
Oh, Homecoming.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what a home. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, it was a really terrible derogatory term, to be honest.
Did you ever go to a homecoming before?
I went to Carleton for 1 year of my life, and there was a bit of a homecoming thing there. The Ravens played the GGs.
Panda game.
Yeah, the Panda game.
Yeah, okay.
The Panda game. Dude,
Awesome,
I
man.
can't even repeat what they would say. I think of an era that I grew up in. The chants we would say from one opposing team to the other as fans. You couldn't say 90% of those words out loud in public anymore.
Oh, yeah.
You'd get banned for life. The chants were just terrible. And it was like 7,000 on one side, 7,000 on the other, just going back at each other. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, same idea with homecoming.
Okay.
Well, I think they're the only two schools that actually care about the game, because the two play each other.
Yes.
And that's why there's a big party. Other schools, they have the game. Nobody gives a fuck about it, though.
No one cares about the game.
They just go to drink at the street.
Of course.
So what we did was we decided we're going to take a virgin to the biggest party in North America, homecoming. Well, student party.
Sure.
Yeah, you got like Western, you had upwards of like 40,000 people 2 years ago.
Western's big.
Crazy shit. But anyway, so we took the virgin to the Hoko, but we were running super late. And normally what we do is we take him, we get him like an outfit, we kind of coach him, we do some challenges with him, but we just didn't have time. It was just very last minute. We needed to get him a haircut though. So some guy on my story was like, yeah, I can cut his hair. And his barbershop was called Brant Barbershop. So I was like, oh, like Brant Street or something. We show up. It's literally a Friday night. It's like 10 at night.
Yeah.
We show up. Like the GPS, I was like, wait a second, this is the university. It's a Brant residence building. So we go into this residence building to get a fucking haircut for this virgin, like 10:30 at night. And I was like, this is crazy. Like this guy's got like a little dorm room, but he's got like a barber chair with like a towel,
All right,
clippers and shit.
Trying.
Throw the virgin in the chair. He's getting his haircut. I put on my story like, hey, shout out to, you know, this barber shop for the last minute cut. Somebody in the building, like it spread like wildfire that we were there, our crew.
Yeah.
And then security got notified, and then 8 cops showed up, took us from the room, ticketed us. So they banned us from the building. They said, you're engaging in prohibited activities. You're trespassing.
Cutting people's hair?
Cutting a virgin's hair. Yeah. Anyways, it gets better. They're also like, yo, so last weekend we saw you partying on the street. Here's a $2,000 ticket for that.
Are you allowed to retroactively give people tickets for doing stuff on? Oh, because they saw you video drinking in public or something? Public intoxication.
We're gonna find out. Yeah. Apparently, I have to go to court for it now.
My goodness! So they're really cracking down on this stuff.
So fucking stupid. Yeah, but this itself. So the police, literally, it was like a SWAT team came. Basically, there's 8 police, 3 security guards.
It's flattering
for the haircut.
Pretty flattering.
It's kind of flattering.
That you can like create that much attention. Like my tax dollars are going to get you arrested for just getting it. Like. That's
kind of fucked up in a way, yeah. Taxpayer money goes to preventing me from getting a virgin a haircut.
There could have been a murder that night or a hostage taking, and they wouldn't have been prepared because they're too busy.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm very pro-police, but not in this case. I got to tell you.
They didn't have enough to do that day.
Is that what it... You never know, though. That's the thing.
Well, they're looking for me. That's the thing. They want to find ways to bring me down. It's not the police, too.
I might want to leave this podcast. I thought this might be good for
I think
exposure.
the police are... Or they're just doing their jobs, but it's like the school board, it's the higher ups that are like, yeah, we got to get rid of this
You're a
guy.
degenerate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the issue. You know, how dare you?
I'm a fucking problem.
How dare you show what university life is actually like, where there's sex, drugs, and rock and roll? Like, how dare you?
God forbid.
Yeah.
I get
actually
a haircut.
expose. Max Magazine can talk about how Western is like one of the top partying schools in North America, but if you're there on the street displaying that, what is happening right in front of the eyes of all the hierarchy, you're the issue.
Well, so that's what ended up happening.
Don't you hate hypocrisy? Don't you hate the idea that, you know, they somehow understand this is going on. They get that it is an alluring part to the school for people to come and pay big money in terms
that's what
of...
they don't admit,
Yeah.
but like a huge part of the reason people choose the school they go to and spend 4 years minimum tuition in many cases. A lot of them get like masters and shit.
Yeah.
But like you're talking like $100,000 over those 4 years.
Oh, listen,
Not even including referral
I paid
fees.
student loans off until I was 33.
Crazy.
So then again, I did use some of my OSEP money to go to get lap dances, but that's fact.
But back then,
Yeah.
tuition was more affordable too.
I think so.
Like inflation has made it way
Yeah,
higher.
my
now.
parents paid for it. I didn't know. I just used the OSEP money for
Good.
it. No, I actually don't.
One of those, eh?
Yeah, no. I actually haven't got a cent given to me in my life.
There you go.
$10 grand. My mother gave me a deposit for my first condo, and I'd actually loaned her money for an addition in a cottage, so we're even. It was a good balance.
There you
but
go.
dude, I did some cool stuff on the street. So like
You did street interviews.
I was taught on the street. Like I was
okay.
I was around, and you know, listen, it's people who knew me from the Edge days, people my era. It was like there was Tom Green, which was and still is the king out of anybody.
Yeah, Eurotrip. He was
Yeah.
in that movie.
Yeah, but I mean his street stuff and the Tom Green show.
I think
mean,
he had the first podcast.
he might have had the first podcast. He had an early podcast.
Holy shit.
And then there were the guys from Buzz. Do you remember those guys? I think he still does comedy on one of the radios. Darren and Mo, I think it was. So you're a young guy, man. And they did street stuff.
I remember The Edge. So my dad, all I listened to, I listen to more music now, but classic rock till I was like 20.
Okay.
Radio. So there's 3 stations, Q107,
Yep.
Y108,
Yep.
Hamilton,
Yep.
and then 102.1 The Edge.
Yeah.
And he didn't like that one as much for the music.
It was more like alternative. It was more grunge.
But the difference is John Derringer on Q107, he's
Yes.
very PG, right?
He became PG. He wasn't always.
Really?
Derringer was
Interesting.
But he was smart.
On the
Longevity.
edge, it was kind of, no
We
pun
went at
intended,
it.
it was a little bit more on the edge, right?
Yeah,
So I know there's you, there's Dean Blundell,
Yes.
and then there's morning radio actually mattered on that.
We were shock jocks for sure.
Yes.
And I look back at what I did and when I did it, and I have a feeling when you're 48 and looking back at 27-year-old Jack Denmo, you'll be like, I don't know if I would do that again. But you would be like, you honestly might think that, but you'll go, wow, it was a great stepping stone to get here.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think true talent, that's what happens, right? Like you break out of a mold, you evolve with a character, an exaggerated version of yourself, and maybe you learn or do other things. And, for me, I learned and did other things, but not a lot of regrets for what I did. I just don't think I would ever do it over again.
Right.
So, but it was a good, I almost got arrested.
Yeah.
I did everything live on the radio. So all my street bits some were pre-recorded, but a lot of the stuff I would go out with a cell phone.
Yeah.
And I would hold it to my mouth.
Like
and
a flip phone?
At the time, how dare you date me?
I was gonna say you said cell phone. They didn't have fucking iPods.
I might have been like I think it was a Telus flip phone at times
So
actually.
you had a cord coming out the window, eh?
There was a
cable.
few. Oh yeah, I had to go exactly. It was actually tin cups with string, and so but we made it work. But I would go I did some fun bits that I was thinking of. I was thinking of them recently. I can't believe I did that stuff. And I don't wonder if you'll think the same way. I once had to dress up as a man baby because I lost a bet at Union Station, in a big diaper, and tell people I'm a man baby. I forget the exact thing, but
You had to do it you lost a bet kind of thing?
I got in a fight with Dean, and he fired me on air, and to get my job back, I had to go out because there was a hierarchy of the day, right? Especially when I started off as an intern.
Yeah.
And so I went out in a man diaper, I had a good body back then actually, so I looked decent in that diaper.
Yeah.
And I got actually taken into a holding cell in Union Station.
Whoa.
And I guess it was like those fake police, those the Paul Blarts of the world, they're not real police yet.
OPP?
No.
Bylaw.
Yeah, or just security guards or something.
Oh, okay.
And then
Shout out to you guys.
And then I remember they put me in handcuffs.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on this metal chair, and the guy goes, he's like, you know how many people shit and pee their pants, are so nervous in this chair. I'm like, well, good thing I'm wearing a diaper, bud. It was so weird. He's trying to. So I got off that. The station came down. It was all station approved, right? It's weird. The conglomerates which at the time like would have been Chorus Entertainment, knew everything we were doing basically, and like never really had issues with this stuff.
You used to be able to get away with that kind of shit.
Yes, you did used to, because advertisers didn't pull out. So when advertisers didn't pull out and they liked the audience numbers coming in, you could do anything you wanted.
When did they start pulling out?
Right, actually around. Let me give you a couple more bits though, because I did fun stuff. Because I was thinking about this stuff. We would go. We were a popular show at the time, and we would go. And we would get tips on like if the Leafs were playing. Are you a Leaf fan, being from Hamilton?
Of course, I'm a Leaf fan.
Good. Okay, listen, man, dude.
I don't watch hockey, but I'm a Leaf fan.
Okay, I don't really watch anymore either. So, but we would get tips from people like, "Hey, the Flyers who are playing the Leafs tonight in the playoffs are staying at the Four Seasons or whatever." So I would go there at 6:30 in the morning with my phone. We'd find out what room Jeremy Roenick was in, and like we'd try to wake them up early to throw them off the game. Like think about that, like
sabotage.
But imagine the security that we would have to go through. So I got through it, and then like Roenick actually wrote about me in his book. Like he actually opened the door, threw water on my face. It was like super funny stuff, actually.
Damn.
I pretended I was Jason Spezza one day coming home from a strip joint, and my coach would and I lost my keys. The stripper stole my stuff. And
to get into the hotel.
And the King Eddie, like they thought it was Jason Spezza. They let me in when I went up to Jason Spezza's room because they told me the room number and everything, and I wouldn't go in because then I think I could have got actually arrested.
Yeah.
He answered the door, kind of lost it. I ran away, and a security guard grabs me. He's like, "We're throwing you in jail." I'm like, "I'm Jason Spezza. What the fuck, dude?" I'm like, "Go get the guy who just woke me up," and like he let me go. Like, think you got to be quick on your feet, right?
Yeah.
So like it was fun. You know, again, I don't know if I would do it over again. You're having fun, and I think it's great, man, because life is meant to be fun. And at certain ages in life, you got to have fun. Even Elon Musk tweeted the other day, like how he aspires to be a comedian. Like
Really?
He does, because like think about how fun he has, right? As the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
He has fun. He's chirping. He's on Twitter. He has this battle with Bezos going, and then like he is a Bitcoin guy, but like calls out people who aren't.
He plays into it for sure.
He plays. And I admire that, and I'm trying to merge that into a world of being a CEO of a publicly traded company, which, you know, going on here, my legal team might advise me not to, quite candidly.
Damn, but I'm a red flag, eh?
Well, not you, just in general.
Yeah.
And my reply to that is, listen, just because I can shoot the shit and have fun with Jack, who's crushing on YouTube and gets a great following, and a lot of people love, especially of your generation, why not be able to share some stories of who I was in the past and show the evolution of who I become now and hopefully will still become in the future? And in a way, I hope, man, I really hope this, like inspire people.
Yeah.
Meaning like you can break out of molds. You can go to Bay Street and raise money in multiples of millions of dollars for a business idea in a ball cap and Air Jordans, which I did.
Right.
You can be you can be candid. And if you're good and you get things done because you have a passion, people will support that vision.
Right.
And I think despite where you come from. So I think it's a cool story.
Yeah, that's a hot take. It's true. I feel the same way though. I mean, like we saw what happened where people are getting canceled for some random soundbite 10 years ago that they said on a podcast or something like that. I mean, I think that we're showing that, because the whole cancel thing, we're showing canceling doesn't really mean anything anymore, because now people are getting canceled for so stupid, like small, minimal things that the canceling doesn't have the same impact, really. I think as a generation, we're learning
it trivializes the real heinous acts out there, the real shit that people do.
I mean, I'm thinking like homecomings, right? They're ticketing people for going to homecomings now. But all the people that are ticketing the kids at homecomings, and even the people that are alumni, like these police, these OPP, and these deans on school boards, they all did the exact same thing.
Far worse, dude.
But they just didn't have social media.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're pretending like, you know, hey, like now we have to stop this, right?
It is very scary. And you know, the woke stuff, the cancel culture, they're finding sound bites. Again, I always go back to hypocrisy. There is a great sign in a U2 concert like years ago. They had like one of these little signs that came up, and it always strikes me as something that like people should think of. And it said something. I think the sign said, "Everybody is racist but you." And if you think about it, it's basically saying like, everyone has something. Everyone's done something stupid. Everyone's said something dumb.
Yeah.
Everyone's, and it was such a way of expressing a statement to say like, you're not perfect, okay? We might not be perfect, but you're not perfect. And I'm so sick of the world, to be honest. And I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. Just don't do anything really stupid, or like, don't go get arrested for actually breaking the law.
Yeah.
But for being true to an art form, a creativity, some innovation, trying to just like shoot the shit, have some fun with jokes and everything. You're like, it's harmless. There's no maliciousness to this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference, what people need to recognize. And then I'm sick of the hypocrisy, because people need to realize if people only internalized what they're doing, or the things they say at dinner parties, or, the odd terrible joke they might utter under their breath in front of their good friends, or maybe in their family. And it's so easy to go and look at what someone else did publicly, but it's not easy to go and look at yourself and go, yeah, I basically do the same thing, because we're all not perfect.
Yeah. Well, I think the internet was the biggest game changer for that, right? Because people love to join a team or a side.
Yeah.
And the internet essentially is when you're escaping real life, you're on the internet, right? Now,
wait till the
obviously
metaverse.
We consume stuff,
Yeah.
right? But like, there's a lot of people that don't do real life anymore. They just do internet all day. The average time somebody spends on their phone a day, take a guess.
6 hours.
Yeah, very close, 5.5. Yeah. So think about that though. That's 5 hours on a screen.
That's so frightening.
Before, people would spend 5 hours just doing real life shit. But the problem is, we do doing real life shit with other people. But what do you do if your friends are on their phone for 5 hours? You're going to do that too, right? You have to stay up to date with them. Me and Buddy that I just had on, he was telling me like all these news stories. He's like, you don't know about this? And I was like, no, man, I don't. Because I have everything scheduled, so I post it so that I don't actually have to consume it, which is ironic because my whole business is being a social media person.
Sure.
But I genuinely feel like that we're not living like we were before. And because of that, though, people start to get connected so much to this behind the screen thing that now their group, their tribe, and their entire version of themselves is their online presence, and they get really easily attached to a certain belief system or a team or an army. And then when there's a topic that comes out, like a divisive thing, like vax or no vax, this person should get canceled or not get canceled, this should be illegal versus illegal, they feel comfort in taking a side. And since they want to reflect the ideas of those that are on their side, they actually become enemies of the other side, and they take pride in being on one side. Like, I guess what it's boiling down to is people need a cause and they need an enemy. So they need somebody to be a part of, and they need something to disagree with so that they have motivation to just give them energy.
The toughest place to be is the middle, is rational minded, is trying to do what our parents taught us to do, all our parents taught us to do when we were children, which is be accountable, listen to the other side, try to have a healthy debate, try to find compromise, try to find this even ground.
The middle ground. Yeah.
And it's interesting, when I stopped working on the edge and I took my show over to SeriousXM, and actually I was one of the first big podcasters out of Canada. The deal I made with SeriousXM is I own my content, and then I also was allowed to put up on iTunes, and I won Best New Podcast in 2014 on iTunes. Big deal, like me and Tim Ferriss. Like I was number one.
Oh, Tim Ferriss.
I had the number one podcast in Canada for I think close to 12 months. Like the billboard up there. It was like a big deal.
Yeah.
Got great sponsorship dollars. It was like a really fucking incredible run. Why I didn't last well with that show is I was like an evolved, grown-up person those stories I told earlier about what I used to do. And my whole thing was trying to find really neat, interesting guests, polarizing guests at that, but ones that were not only just captivating and engaging, but ones where we could sit and try to have these healthy debates, try to find middle ground. I really tried to do that with my show. And I would put on Trump supporters, and I would put on, obviously, people who thought Trump should get shot 16 times even though they don't believe in guns, all this kind of
So
stuff.
you'd have both on at the same time?
I would try that, yeah. Whoa. And I would get we had some really interesting debates on the program, but people didn't want to find middle ground. So just to add to what you're saying, you're right. You're nailed it, dude. They want a side and they want an enemy. And that scares me. For someone who has a 6 and a 2-year-old in this world, and someone who's the CEO of a publicly traded company that sells magic truffles in the Netherlands, which are essentially magic mushrooms. It's just the legal way we do it. And if anyone, and I've heard you talk about mushrooms, by the way, and I loved when you talked about it. Yeah, on one of your shows.
Mushies are awesome, man.
Well, and they are awesome.
Yeah.
And if you're like, none of this would exist, this social media divisiveness, if everyone's doing magic mushrooms at the time. It just wouldn't happen. People under magic mushrooms 100% would think before they posted something so nasty, would think before they posted about something they didn't really know, but they pretended to know. They would be more introspective.
Like that piss and vinegar.
Yes.
It would be gone. Turn to the water.
Because the whole thing what mushrooms do, in my opinion, and anecdotally, is they connect you. They bring you back to the connection of people around you who are different. It lets go of your ego. It connects you also with your surrounding environments, the community, the environment, the trees, the rocks, the things that are going to outlive us all. And listen, climate change may be happening, okay? But I'll tell you who's going to win. Not humans. The earth will still be here.
Yeah.
The earth always wins.
Parasites and bacteria will win.
Yeah. And the trees and the rocks and the ocean, it'll be here. They're just getting rid of the people who are destroying
mushrooms.
It. So, yeah.
Mushrooms basically make you feel like an animal again.
They're beautiful. Yeah. I could see that.
Like an ant.
And in fact, it does, well, maybe, it does increase senses too. And maybe you'd smell the forest fire before.
Yeah.
And run away.
Well, the thing with mushrooms, man, is like, I remember the first time I did them, I was like 19, and we were out in the country, me and my buddies, and he had a trampoline, big fucking trampoline, and we all laid on the trampoline like in a circle, just staring at the sky and the stars. Yeah. We put on like Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd.
Sure. I've heard that song
the solo was like 3 hours long. It just kept going because we were tripping ball sacks, obviously. We walked down the street. We had a bag of Doritos, but by the end of the street, we walked all the way back. It was still full. Like, so obviously we were out of our gourd. But like, I remember having this very clear insight where I was like, all I am is like an ant on a rock that's floating through an infinite universe. Like, I was so chilled out for a moment. Oh shit, an advertisement. I bet you guys didn't see that coming. So recently decided to partner with Manscaped, and they sent me a bunch of goodies to fulfill all my shaving needs. If you're watching this, you're probably a guy or girl that shaves because you grow hair. I actually don't grow hair on my pubes. All I have to do is shave my face. I was blessed genetically where I don't have any ball hairs. But I got this beautiful package of goods. Basically, if you use the link in the description, Jack Denmo, you get 20% off your order. And we got razor blades. We have this little beautiful machine right here that'll help me keep my mustache looking mint, guys. Listen to that. Look at that little blue light up color. Beautiful shit right there, guys. We also got some beard oil or whatever the fuck this is. I can't grow a beard, so this is useless to me, but I bet a lot of you guys do grow beards. So yeah. Anyways, guys, if you enjoy taking care of yourself, looking clean, feeling fresh, looking good, and trimming your balls, make sure you check out Manscaped. 20% off by using the link in the description. Back to the podcast.
I'm not just saying this, but and I don't know you too well, but I tried to watch some of your stuff. I'm just so busy, right?
Yeah.
And I think you're a really cool dude. And the stuff when you were opening up about your mother, dude, that was like super emotional and really well done. But I think I must have told this story on record somewhere before. I completely compare this to ants as well on mushrooms.
Yeah.
And the idea though, and I don't know if you were thinking the same thing, is in a way how irrelevant you are. Meaning like at any given point, like ants just get stepped on. They can't comprehend why they died. Well, like an ant, like if you step on an ant or an entire ant farm, they don't have anything in their capacity to ever go like, oh, that was a Nike Air Jordan that just squashed me, or a Reebok. They can't think that way. And sometimes I think that about us as human beings when we do look up. And isn't it beautiful to look up? That's another thing we don't do often, which is just look up.
It just lowers that ego, though.
Because we're irrelevant.
But we're so small. We're so tiny.
Nothing, dude.
Yeah.
And then what is it like in tsunamis or, one day with asteroids or whatever's going on with space or climate change? Like maybe as much as the human mind has evolved more than any other species on this planet that we know of, maybe we can never evolve it to the point where we can actually fathom what's going on the same way an ant can't fathom what shoe print just squashed them to death.
Yeah, that's so true. Like on a universe scale, we're probably just so fucking stupid.
Well, exactly.
We don't know what's going on.
No, we don't know what's going on.
What do you think? So we have 6 senses, right? What do you think the 7th sense would be?
Ooh, what did I read? I was reading something recently. Sorry, it's been a very long day for me.
Like vibrations, maybe? Like
no,
the animals, they can
there was-
feel the tectonic plates and shit.
Oh, I was reading. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. No, I read something. Oh, about how we're not. Jim Carrey talked about this once on a red carpet.
Yeah.
How there's like extension. How do you say that word? Extensionalism.
Oh, existential.
Thank you, Dean. I'm so
Existential.
sorry, guys. I don't want to seem like there's a moron here.
Shout out, Dean.
That maybe we actually are living in our own imagination.
Like a simulation theory?
Not necessarily simulation, but maybe we're actually, like none of this is actually existing. So our actual sense is going deeper into our mind. There was a story of a Toronto guy in 1998 who wrote about this, and apparently he saw into this like alternative universe. And it was like guided how you could last forever and exist forever in this mind state. That you sort of create your own world. So I think that might be the sense that we haven't tapped into our brain. So it's a little deep, and it's a Friday night, and I don't know enough about it to speak from experience, or I read a blurb very recently, and that when you asked the question, that's where my mind went.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like
Either that or your gut is another sense that I think you can't
dude. Well, we have that. We must have that.
Do they consider that an actual sense?
Okay, what are the 6 senses? So we got hearing, seeing.
I'm losing all those things.
Smell, taste.
I lost that. I had COVID.
Touch.
Yeah.
That's 5.
Yeah.
What's the 6th one? Gut? It's got to be gut, right?
No, it's only 5 senses. 6 senses?
There's 6 senses.
No, I think that's whatever. Like that's my 6th sense. But it
what's
was
your
actually only
6th sense?
5.
The 6th sense.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Why the fuck did I think there was 6?
It's because you might have it. You're a talented guy.
Damn.
You're looking for the 7th.
Dude, you know what I thought when I was on mushrooms? I was like, everybody that's running the world must be on mushrooms. Because everything just makes so much sense when you're on.
So I heard you say that, and I agree with you. When you saw that Bradley Cooper movie, Limitless, I'm convinced that the Limitless drug, if it exists, there is some psilocybin within it, because you see the world differently, and it is so much why I'm
so bigger, so much bigger,
and especially in controlled dosages, and especially in right such situations,
that's the key. Yeah. If you do 8 grams,
No, it's a sensitive drug, right?
Yeah.
It's set and setting, it's education, it's screening, it's understanding what you're getting into and who you're getting into it with.
You ever done Adderall?
I've never done Adderall. I've never done Ritalin. I did Ativan once. I was going through a little bit of I thought I was all depressed back.
What is Ativan? What's that?
I think it just allowed me to sleep.
Is it like an antidepressant?
Something.
Sedative?
It's
something like
it's synthetic, like SSRI essentially. Gotcha. And I don't touch. I hate big pharma. Just let's get that started. I am so against big pharma everything, and I prided myself in the fact that, other than when I almost cut my thumb off this summer because I was just sawing wood and I missed, and I needed to take some like penicillin or something, I don't think I've touched any prescribed drug in probably 20-25 years.
Damn.
And I don't even touch Advil or Tylenol. Like if I have a hangover, just fucking deal with the hangover.
Right.
Although there's some natural substances
my dad's like that. Yeah.
And that's why I'm so behind magic mushrooms with the company Red Light Holland. I brought you stuff, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I brought you a hat.
I see this. Yeah.
I brought
Might be the first hat I ever wear, guys. I never wear hats.
Yeah, well, you have great hair. You're a good-looking dude.
Gotta let it
flow. I brought you a Free the Magic. We're launching this.
Is that what size is that?
That's a large. That's for you, man. Free
Beautiful.
the Magic.
Yeah, this is nice.
That's Red Light Holland. We're a publicly traded company, by the way. Trip.
Let's go.
We trade under Trip. Do your due diligence, financial advisor, all that kind of stuff.
So you guys have like when you get a car, you want to get like the coolest license plate.
Yeah.
You got the good fucking market handle. Trip.
Listen, it is part of when you take a company public, and that was my creation. Yeah. So
do you have to pay for it, or do you?
Do. We reserved it. We reserved it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we reserved the ticker symbol when we had the idea.
You put like Kush if you're a weed company.
I think someone might have Kush.
Fuck.
Yeah. Some people have resin. Weed was Canopy Growth, which was the big one.
Yep. My teacher told me to get in on that 4 years ago. He's like, guys, this is gonna blow up, and after class, come and talk to me. I was like one of 2 guys that went up to him, and it did.
And did you put in a little money? That's great.
Shout out to Kevin Means. Legendary.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So Bruce Linton, who is the former CEO of Canopy
That's
Growth,
right. He's on your guys' board.
He's the chair of my advisory board, and
looked that up.
he is. I love that guy. He is so quick. He is so smart. He's funny. He proudly talks about thinking I would have been a great CEO based on the times he met me. First, he listened to me on The Edge on the radio show, and he liked what I did. Then we met, and then I was an ambassador for Canopy Growth. I'd bring up like Snoop Dogg on stage and shit. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Bruce and he got to know me beyond the radio character. And then when I took this company public, he's like, of course I'll support you. I see how hard you work. And that's, he doesn't think of, perceptual issues that a lot of people might think of. And you got to admire that, where you look past someone's aesthetic or someone's act or whatever it may be. You looked how hard they work. And
all I know about Bruce was that I think he lives somewhere up north. That's it.
He lives
Like
close to
weird
Ottawa
town.
area.
Yeah, it's like a small town. I guess that's where like CGC is based out of. No?
Oh, that was Smith Falls.
Okay.
He's not there anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what, like being a CEO, like, because you were a radio guy.
Dude, that's classic.
Yeah.
Just your face.
I mean, technically, I am a CEO of my own company.
You are,
I guess,
and
but
be proud of it.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Denmo Inc. Incorporated. But like, what do you do as a CEO? Like, public version.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
I would absolutely love for the ability to have a camera follow what publicly traded, including small cap CEOs, like small caps. We've come down a bit. Our stock at one point, ran up to about 60, 70 cents. We're back down to around 16. It's like, it's a tough time in the psychedelic sector. And, other than, there's two parts to being a CEO of a publicly traded company.
Yeah.
There's the one that should be the most important, which is running the business, which is what any business is, which is what Jack Denmo Inc. is, which is you increasing your audience share, increasing the way you earn revenues, growing a business, growing your stardom, and being able to charge, whatever you can for that's how do you have advertisers for the show?
Yeah.
Good.
We were working on it.
And
we actually have to do an ad today after this.
Great.
You reminded me.
You should be doing a lot of ads.
Yeah.
And people won't mind because they know you got to earn a living. And of course, YouTube views are great and you get paid well for there.
I never liked doing ads, but I'm starting to get around to it.
Gotta do
it's just
it,
a part of maturing.
And they're gonna love you. Like your fans, they're gonna know like Jack's got to eat. Like Jack's getting old. He can't just show up and do this just to hope he gets the YouTube views so he can collect a bunch of thousands of dollars in that one video.
Yeah.
They don't all go that way.
I need a private chef so you can eat healthy all day.
You know what? I know a guy with a private chef. I won't say who. It's the greatest.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing. We go to his place for dinner and it's just like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like 5-star Michelin chef. You're like, you never even seen the dish. Like it was so fancy. You've never even seen it on a menu.
This week I've been staying with a girl I'm seeing, and
she rich?
Well, she's not rich, no. But basically, she was cooking for me 3 meals a day while I just worked doing stuff on my computer. And I was like, man, this is so efficient. Like, all I have to do, I wake up, I work all day. Like, my meal's healthy. It's right there. And obviously, like, the company, everything else is great. But, like, the idea that, like, because cooking for me, I'm thinking, okay, well, I could spend an hour. I go to the grocery store. I buy all this stuff, cook it. Then I have to clean the dishes and there's those veggies in the fridge that go to waste. It's a lot of bullshit, man.
Yeah.
But some people, it's their art. But for me, my art's doing everything else. So I'm the kind of guy that I'll have a fucking podcast on a Friday night because I'm thinking about the bigger picture. But at times when you do that, your health gets sacrificed, right?
For sure.
Eating habits, diet. So to know what it's like to have somebody like just the food's ready for you and it's healthy.
Yep.
Man, I already see it now. Like, chef all day.
Well, some of the most successful people I've met, and I talk about this in all the podcasts I have the opportunity to go on about how much I love success. And I love people who have achieved it and work hard. And I love billionaires. I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you watch how regimented their day is. And, you sometimes think of like this Daddy Warbucks type of character as like maybe mean or whatever. But, CEOs in general or successful people have these regiments, right? Which is, you get foods for you have drivers, you have all the stuff, and you're like, oh, they're exploiting people, look what that. And then when you realize though, it's for the pure convenience for them to turn on what they're really good at, which is clearly making a lot of money and running big businesses and having like pure dedication and changing the world, and having that dedication. It is amazing to watch those minds work. With that being said, is as successful as I'd love to be one day, and I do achieve like greatness that way. And I don't just think of monetary wealth. I think of growing the company, which relates back to monetary wealth. But I still love cleaning. I actually love cleaning. Like relaxing. Yeah, I like getting in there and like scrubbing stuff. And when I'm stressed, it like just gets some.
You know what I don't like, man?
Yeah, what don't you like?
Dishwashers.
The whole concept of them?
I just like to clean my own dishes. I like to rinse them. It's very therapeutic. I like doing that. Yeah.
That's what I mean, man.
Fuck dishwashers.
And I wash them so well
just
before
clean them
I put them
after
in.
you cook.
Right. Well, and even if I don't, I clean them like 80% and put them in. I don't just put. I never understood people who just put dishes, especially like peanut butter knives, in the dishwasher. Like it's not getting perfectly clean. I know.
Just rinse it so easy.
And then when you're rinsing, just one extra scrub.
That's what I mean, man. And
you're smart.
It's like when you have a fucking smoothie, and you have the cup after you drink it. It's got all those little. If you leave it out there, it'll go hard. You got to scrub it. But if you clean it right afterwards, you just rinse it.
I actually clean as I cook.
Yeah.
Like it's like
better workflow.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I don't need to be sitting watching the eggs the whole time. Like I have a minute to grab that. Like if I just
put the butter on the pan and then you go clean the knife.
Clean the knife, dude.
Fuck.
We're multitaskers.
Yeah.
That's what it's like being a CEO.
Yo, true. That's a good analogy.
And honestly,
cleaning while you cook. Holy shit.
That's if you can do that, you can be the CEO of any company.
Damn.
So, but back to that question, it is quite candidly, and sometimes I maybe share too much on the emotional side because you think of CEOs like the super stoic and everything's perfect, and it's tough, man.
Yeah.
Like you're by default a leader, even though I always speak to anyone who we work with, and we have a pretty robust and big staff now, that I want everyone to think of ourselves as a family. Like we share ideas, we come into this, there's got to be hierarchy in terms of reporting and speaking to a board of directors and making, ultimate decisions and stuff. But in terms of idea sharing and whiteboarding and where can we go and what's our best chance of success and revenues and stuff, family. Like we're in this together as a family. If we win as a family, we all win together and our shareholders win too. So there's that part of the lessons.
So you're like a dad.
Well, or a mom.
A grandfather? A grandmother?
Or a grandma.
Yeah.
Or just, you know what? A really cool
neighbor.
27-year-old kid who is out there. And if I didn't listen to that 27-year-old kid, I wouldn't be able to get 3 million views on a YouTube video. So you got to listen to everybody because everyone has something to offer. And that's the first and foremost thing I tell anyone who comes to work for me. But back to, there is some delegation still. There's a lot of decision making. There's weighing, there's always potential M&A opportunity. We're a company with about $29 million in the bank. So there's a lot of opportunity for us to grow by merger and acquisition as opposed to just creating and doing our own.
Right.
There's the capital market side of thing where you got to entertain bankers and talk to hedge funds and you always got to put it out there like on what you're doing, but you can't talk about material information. So that's another thing that's tough as a CEO of a publicly traded company is as a radio show host, I got paid, Jack, pretty good money to say whatever came to my mind. And it was a really neat thing because you know that. It's unfiltered.
Yeah.
It pops out, you say it, no edits, it's done.
It's nice, yeah.
In my new world, which has only been 18 months, I can't say anything. I can't talk about what I want to talk about or what I think we can get done.
Right.
Because it's anything that's material information. And if you were to give one shareholder that information over another, it's then considered like insider. You got to be super cautious.
It's the P word.
What's P?
Proprietary.
It's proprietary.
Yeah.
I'll try to say it properly the first time next time.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the stock side of the business and then the actual growing the business. And keep in mind, I'm growing a business in the Netherlands. We're working with partners in Brazil. We have partners in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I've talked about this publicly, we're looking at opportunities in Jamaica. Like it's not just Toronto. We have partners in Oregon because
So these opportunities, what are they based on? Like in Jamaica, they're legally allowed to sell and consume mushrooms. Like what is it that makes somewhere... Because I don't even know the laws on mushrooms right now.
And that's the most important thing.
You could probably fill them in for me. Like what is the state of legalization of mushrooms?
Without a doubt. And that's a great question. So Red Light Holland, just for context, we sell magic truffles in the Netherlands. I mentioned it earlier. In the Netherlands, magic truffles are legal. We have legal opinions. We got listed by the Canadian Securities Exchange. We've had a prospectus deal. If anyone wants to know what that is, it means when You can get a bought deal, and the Ontario Securities Commissions basically looks at every single thing your company's doing. And of course, it's all above board. So, you have to show them this. So we're a very legal operating company with a farm and a distribution company, and have our product in multiple shops in the Netherlands. It's called iMicrodose, and we've created a new product called Maca. Maca meaning earth, and one is more of the microdose style way of doing truffles, and the other one is a responsible use of more of a larger dose. And we have responsible use because we have telecounseling support set up, we have community events, we have an iMicro app, we call it, which consensually, privacy first, tracks people's data if they want to give it, so we can learn more about microdosing and how it's hopefully helping people. Really corporately responsible.
Yeah.
The reason for that being is we want to help with the information we're learning from the Netherlands, help shape, we hope, future regulations.
So like, it's kind of a test run.
It
for
is
a system that could work over here.
Totally. And doing it better than we think anybody's ever even thought to do it.
So how long have they been allowed to do in Holland? I imagine a long time.
For a very long time.
Like Amsterdam's the classic, like go and do drugs. It's awesome.
Go and do it all. Have some fun.
So Canada, what point are they at?
So in Canada right now, they do, it's a tricky kind of lobbying effort here. They offer exemption 56s for patients that are terminally ill or have severe trauma.
PTSD.
Yeah, PTSD.
Yeah.
And there's not enough exemption 56s. But what those exemptions do is they allow people to use a one-time dose of magic mushrooms to help them with their anxiety or whatever they may be going through. They're not allowing anyone to go and get it from a reliable source. Like Red Light Holland, we'd love to be that company.
So who administers it? Like a doctor?
They're just saying you're allowed to do it, and they're not really saying
where you get it from. Just you're allowed to do it.
It's crazy, right? Like if you think about it, it's so progressive on one hand, but so weird on the other. Which is
is the thing that's preventing them from having somebody administer it to them? I imagine there's two major issues. One, obviously, quality control.
Sure.
But two would be who gets the right to run the mushroom game. Like who's because a monopoly could easily form. Like this guy already has the whole. He has all the mushrooms. One guy's selling all the mushrooms.
Well, as you know, everyone's getting magic mushrooms in Canada.
Allegedly, yeah.
Totally.
I will say this.
You were an ant once.
I don't know how illegal this is.
Yeah.
But I got mushrooms recently.
On Instagram, probably.
Well, no. One I got some from my friend. He just sold them to me.
Yeah.
And I have another buddy that allegedly grew them. But there's a way you can get microdoses online, allegedly, but you don't pay with a secure checkout, like a credit card or anything. You e-transfer them with like a code, and then they know it's your order based on the e-transfer, and then they ship you mushrooms.
It is amazing how easily accessible mushrooms are, and part of me thinks that's great because our whole company's motto and mandate is for reliable, responsible access. Every adult at 18 years old, we believe, back to Free the Magic, should be allowed to have something that has grown from the ground that we think can help us. And how many great stories do you hear of magic mushrooms?
All of them.
All of them.
I mean, I've heard some bad trips, but
I've heard way more bad drunken night stories on the weekly.
True. Yeah, if you run the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you run compared to amphetamines, SSRIs, pharmaceutical.
So back to big pharma. So back to the regulation. Sorry, Jack.
Yeah.
It's a patient game, and this is one thing I always tell shareholders, is that we're at the front of the patient game. It's a tortoise and a hare approach,
So
right?
you think it'll go the same way as weed?
Well, I ultimately would. It's hard for me. Again, I got to be careful as a CEO. I shouldn't project, right? Todd separately. Before I was the CEO of this company that went public and was a private company with this idea where I raised my original $4 million, that's what I thought. And I still think it. I think it's got to be done carefully, though. And meaning that, cannabis, it was great. And cannabis started with exemption 56s, by the way, in the early 2000s. So that's exactly that kind of same precedent.
Potentially, based off the timeline of marijuana, make speculation as to when things could play out.
Well, the difference for me is it's interesting to compare the two because I don't know if you should compare any drug.
Right.
With magic mushrooms, I think it is irresponsible, and I'll say this politely, but for governments and authorities and committees and even psychologists and psychiatrists and doctors and professionals to ignore what people say all the time. Like, I just think it's irresponsible in a mental health crisis that we're experiencing right now.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you know, I'm a guy who suffers from great amounts of anxiety, but when I do magic mushrooms or truffles, whatever, I'm amazing. Like, I'm absolutely focused. I'm more relaxed. I'm actually more energetic because I have more positive energy flowing into me, and the negative one, which is, you know, sometimes weighing you down. It's really beautiful. So I think that they need, in my opinion, to carefully look at what people want. People want magic mushrooms, and do it the way we see a lot of parallels with the decriminalization of not decriminalization, with the regulation of actually sex work. If you think about it, in the Netherlands, to the regulation of psychedelics. And the reason being is protection, number one. It's about protection of the people. So the people need to have an education and responsible use. It's about educating and informing and protecting. It's about regulating. It's about understanding exactly what the laws are clearly defined.
Right.
Not just saying decrim, you know, you can now, you're not going to get caught. No one's going to care. You know, like, cops are more concerned busting Jack at Hoco parties rather than you with mushrooms. But, you know, so for me, it's all about those important steps. And that's what Red Light Holland was really focused on, hopefully working with Measure 109 as they write it up in Oregon, understanding more about the Jamaican laws, which are a little bit gray right now, but we are speaking to a lot of legal teams in Jamaica to see if we can be there.
So is mushrooms decriminalized in Canada yet?
Essentially, dude.
It's like a gray area, I guess.
No one's going to, I mean, my company can't touch it, right?
Yeah.
We have been allowed through Health Canada to get an import license for our magic truffles. It's in a lab in Montreal. It's gone through its first round of testing where we're learning about extraction and standardization and all the properties within the magic truffle. So there are these baby steps.
I'm just thinking, like, because I remember, you know, I was in high school, weed was still illegal. Like, you could still get in a lot of shit if you had a bunch of weed.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Like, just looking back now, like, a lot of the fun was that it was illegal, I guess. But, like, mushrooms, like, I think that's a separate class of drug, is it not?
Schedule 1. Well, I think cannabis would have been Schedule 1 at the time too. But yeah, it's I mean, it's right up there with cocaine.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So technically though, like, if you got caught with, like, you know, an ounce of mushrooms, or God forbid you had it in separate bags too, like, you know, you could get a lot of jail time. Probably.
We're seeing a lot of movements, though. Like Measure 109 in Oregon's a great example of that, where they've all checked off on a ballot that they're working on a program to try to make it legal within the next 18 months. We're seeing small areas within California, like Oakland. I think it's called Acarda in the Humboldt region, where they're
big trees there.
Yes,
big fucking trees, man.
So we're seeing that. I do believe we're seeing that path. And again, not to mislead any potential shareholder or any current shareholder, but if I was a betting man as Todd Shapiro away from being the CEO of a public-facing company, I would bet that we'll see legal markets with magic mushrooms before we'll see a big drug discovery company actually synthesize psilocybin, tweak a molecule, patent it to prescribed instead of the SSRIs that we're seeing right now.
Fake mushroom?
That's what they're doing.
Have they done that for weed yet?
A couple of companies have managed to do it. Like GW Pharma got bought out by a big pharma company synthesizing some cannabis, but it wasn't that effective in cannabis. In mushrooms or psilocybin or other psychedelics, maybe perhaps it will be. And by the way, while I don't believe in that, if that helps people, I think that's tremendous. If my dad's more prone to taking a pill that came from a doctor, good for my dad. And my dad needs psychedelics. But he'd kill me for saying that.
What are the differences between mushrooms as far as, because, you know, there's the old, like, oh, these are blue caps. You know? Like, walk me through that.
There's a lot of different strains, right? So in the truffles, we deal with, like, Mexicana we grow, Galindoi, Tampanensis. It's really the different regions where they came from. But if you have the spawn and know how to have the substrate and to kind of grow it and recreate that process, ultimately there's not huge amounts of differences.
Can it be like indica sativa kind of thing?
Yeah, I think the
body high, head
what
high.
What we're trying to learn is, you know, I know what you mean, like a little bit of the hash game versus. We are learning that, and that is the most important thing for us is trying to figure out what the standardization of these naturally occurring products are, and what is the dose that works for certain individuals. So, for instance, you and I are probably around the same weight. same height, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe X amount of magic truffles or magic mushrooms of a certain strain works this way for us.
Like protein per pound of weight for gaining weight, kind of.
And ultimately, though, what you need from that is data. And that's what we're trying to figure out from our end consumers to allow us to, we're getting biometric movement data, little things like if you're hunched over one day and you're brought up and stuff, like it's showing us your effectiveness or giving you confidence and getting rid of some of your fears. But what did you take to get you there?
So like have one mushroom for CEOs trying to do creative shit, and then one mushroom for like people with PTSD or anxiety, and then have data.
Data is everything, and consensual data, privacy first data. So, we envision things like community center approach, right? Like a microdose center where you could hang out like at a coffee shop, and then you'd have someone there who's an administrator who could try and work with you to figure out this stuff. And you could wanting the community of people who use magic mushrooms are beautiful because they always want other people to use magic mushrooms because they're all nicer under them. Yeah. And so if we can give back and learn that data for naturally occurring product, that's really what our mission is. And back to those regulations and legalities you're asking me about, we would like to then present that to the government and say, this is how much we've learned. Nobody else has learned anything like this. Yeah. And by the way, I think it's going to be effective. I think we're going to learn a lot as we do it.
Canada or the United States more further ahead? You said Oregon, right? But I guess it's state by state there.
Yeah, it's literally the same thing as cannabis. If you think of the liberal states, California, Colorado, Oregon, Canada, we're starting to hear these talks. They're talking about special access programs. They're talking about training therapists to do these hero doses to help with guided therapy sessions, which is also a beautiful thing. What about other drugs? I know like ketamine's used to treat people. Like, what do you know about other drugs? Yeah, ketamine's legal. So
it is? Really?
Ketamine is legal. Ketamine is a completely legal product in both Canada and the United States.
What? Holy shit.
I think it's been legal since the 70s.
I thought it was a fucking rave drug.
No, K, right? Special K. So
ketamine's legal?
It's legal. So there are a lot of ketamine clinics.
Where do you get fucking ketamine?
There are ketamine clinics in Toronto. To be honest,
I can go and buy ketamine,
but they're expensive, dude. They're very expensive. And back to like providing legal access of naturally occurring products.
Yeah,
we want to make what we can't say medication. We can't make medical claims, but we want to make it affordable because we're privileged. We're lucky here. We're beyond lucky, dude. How much you get paid by YouTube last week? You're a lucky guy.
Pretty good. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Allegedly, not on my main channel, but
fair enough.
Well, mushrooms. I know there's a pretty standard price for weed. Back when I was buying like weed from dealers, it was like $10 for a gram, and then the higher up you went, you get a discount. Mushrooms, I think, were $5 for a gram, but at some point they just went up in price over the last couple of years.
I like to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for the bottom line.
Yeah.
The illicit market.
These are buddy prices too.
Yeah. Oh wow. They're really. I think as a buddy, they're charging you more because they know you're making money on YouTube. But
yeah, maybe. No, for the $5 gram was a good.
Oh, that was a buddy price.
That was a buddy price. Yeah.
I think that these illicit companies, they're bold, man. They're out there on Instagram. They're even promoting posts, right, to buy, and they're neatly branded and stuff. I think ultimately, they're the ones that will get, shut down.
Right. And
companies like ours who are doing that tortoise and the hare approach, the tortoise, we're slowly, patiently getting to a finish line.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully win out. With that being said, I don't think anyone should really do anything illicit or illegal, but then again, if we all use magic mushrooms, we're kind of doing something illicit or illegal. But the companies, they should be careful, I think. But good for them for at least... Maybe I shouldn't be saying this. Yeah, I know this is the problem with me. But good for them for at least allowing people to experience some access. I just hope they're doing it responsibly, even though it's illicit.
Before we wrap up, what do you...
Do we have to wrap up? I could be here. This is the thing.
We have to wrap soon. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Well, next couple minutes.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was thinking fucking...
Yeah. Do you have fun? Do you like hanging out?
Oh, yeah. No.
Favorite? Like your favorite guest or like...
Well, I don't know. Every guest is different.
Yeah.
I only have on interesting people. That's the thing. Like,
I appreciate you having me on. I really do.
A lot of podcasts, I think, are going to lean more towards like who's the most famous celebrity or has the most followers. But like, I don't really care. It's just interesting people for me, right? You have a pretty interesting situation.
It's nice to learn from people. To learn from people's experiences is... And to like be able to share that with all your followers and listeners and stuff... It's again, I'm just joking.
If you're just curious, I'm very curious,
dude. It's a line I steal from Albert Einstein all the time. That I have no special talents. I'm only passionately curious. well, he had special talents. I actually, don't have any special talents. And my curiosity has gained me so much fucking knowledge. And I continue to be. I'm also my hardest critic. So I always want to prove myself wrong. I always want to do better for myself.
It's a double-edged sword, having that curiosity.
Yeah.
It's like the artist's dilemma, as they say.
But the artist keeps creating. As long as you keep creating, you're in good shape.
Well, they can channel that pain into art.
Are you in pain?
I guess to an extent, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all are, right? Because artists, in a way, they have to kind of express themselves in a way that's not necessarily normal. They can't really think inside the box.
Can I end it on one thing and read this to you?
Sure. You got a big quote?
Because my buddy sent this to me today, and I loved it. And I think it's a really nice message. And I'm going to get emotional here. It's been a long day. 2 kids, 2 and 6, a dog that injured himself today, a little 14-and-a-half-year-old Yorkie. He's never been injured his whole life.
Yeah. He
Poor
still
little
showed
guy.
up. I was surprised.
Man, you know what? You committed time to me, and it would be so rude for me to try to take advantage of that. Like, that's what I thought. I'm like, I can't.
That's true.
You came down. Yeah, honest to God. Like you never take away people's time. That's really our biggest asset in life.
I know. As I get older, I feel so bad when I do have to fucking cancel on shit. Makes me feel like shit.
And if you're a few minutes late, I don't mind so much, like for things, because I'm late a lot. But don't take away people's time. It's a terrible. I'm trying to find this email. Give me a sec here as I look.
Well, one day I'm going to move out here, and then I'll be like down the street. It's like, all right, whatever.
Because what are you now? You're an hour and a half away or whatever.
Well, not an hour and a half. Well, depending traffic, yeah.
So I talk about often how I always want to win. Like I hate losing. Like I want to win. I want to grow this business. I think we're doing a great job out of the gate.
Yeah.
We're great with our cash. We have great ideas. In time, I think, hopefully we can expand on them. And again, I'm being careful what I say. But I'm back to my biggest critic. Like no one can make fun of me more than myself. Like I'm beating myself up.
Well, all the spots.
Well, for sure. But back to what we talked about right at the beginning, I think people don't know how to be self-deprecating, don't know how to be hard on themselves. So when they hear something that they think is offensive, it's like, oh, you already didn't think that about yourself? Like how sanctimonious of you. Like how?
Ooh, that's a word. One more time.
I can't.
Fuck.
I'm doing
sanctimonious?
Sanctimonious.
Sanctimonious. Damn.
So this is a proverb my friend sent me. He's also a competitive guy within his own business, a very successful person. And he said, sometimes you just got to chill out a little bit in this need to win. And then he sent me this. His name's Ed. He's a great guy.
Okay.
Then it's a proverb.
Yep.
The need to win. When an archer is shooting for fun, he has all his skill. If he shoots for a brass buckle, he is already nervous. If he shoots for a prize of gold, he goes blind or sees 2 targets. He is out of his mind. His skill has not changed, but the prize divides him. He cares. He thinks more of winning than of shooting, and the need to win drains him of power. And my point being is, for people who are hard on themselves, and I'm trying to learn this as a 48-year-old guy and a guy who's got $29 million, growing a business in revenues, in a space that's unregulated, that we're trying to force regulation. I don't want to lose that. I want to win that. But what I'm getting out of this is I got to let it flow a little bit too. You can't control a stock price. You can't control if shareholders are upset with you. You can't control if you didn't get an M&A done because something went away or the DD wasn't there, the due diligence didn't work out.
Yeah.
Be a little more patient with it, and it will come. And don't force an issue. So I think it's just, as you grow old, dude, because you're a talented guy, remember that. Don't. You have a lot to look forward to.
Well, yeah.
And you have a great girlfriend. It cooks you 3 meals a day.
Well, I was going to say it hits because, I got to a really big point on social media, like millions of followers, and fucking, I was doing all these crazy videos, and I had all these people that were just totally dependent on me for making videos, and it was great, but it wasn't necessarily my passion. I don't know. Something just clicked. A lot of tragedy in life, a lot of different perspectives, a lot of just because I'm good at it doesn't mean this has to be my thing. So what I did was I took a big step away from that machine that I had to keep feeding to make something more sustainable long term. So this is one of those projects, right? I have this podcast. I have some other podcasts I'm going to do. I have a channel where I just teach young men social skills and how to get better at talking to girls and making friends and improving themselves. And what I'm doing is having all these things go and have them sustainable and starting to work. Then I can get back to the bigger picture stuff, right?
Well, it's great, and it's growing while you're growing with others, and finding a passion and doing it. And the passion is the number one thing that always wins out in this world. If you can find a passion in what you're doing, you've already won the game.
Oh yeah, if you enjoy it.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I'm very I love talking to interesting people. Like I had a podcast 4 years ago, but I stopped because I was like, well, nobody's watching it, and it's not making money.
Man, it's so funny. I've done this podcast and a couple others now. And it's inspiring me to go back into it, not worrying about who's watching or listening, just because it always has been a passion of mine. Mm-hmm. And by the way, the algorithm, I used to represent YouTube stars and get them integrated content and sponsorship deals and stuff. I was always kind of like, how can I earn money next? Like, that's just the way I thought. I sold my own sponsorships and stuff. And the algorithm's tricky in YouTube and stuff, right? Like it promotes new stars. And then you feel like you're on top of the world, but yet you don't have a lot of coaching. You don't have a lot of guidance. All that pressure you just spoke of earlier. And I admire you for doing it. I never had a following like that ever, anywhere near on social. I had it on a radio show, but it wasn't measurable every day. It was measurable by quarterly results that advertisers would then give the station for. Yeah. And for you, and I've seen this in talent, especially young talent, I almost think it's a little bit irresponsible even of Google and YouTube and stuff to not coach or be there for in therapeutic ways to when you make stars and then they sort of falter away a little bit because the algorithm's already busy promoting new stars to keep people in the machine. Mm-hmm. It is very trying for people. And I think that I at least had a program director, as stupid as he was, at least I could talk to him with my problems. Or, I at least had other people in an office environment. So I really admire the work you guys do because you put it all out there. You create it all yourselves. You start your own business. You are your own business, dude. You make a lot of money doing it. But there's not a lot of support systems in place for talent.
No.
And it's not like Hollywood where you have an agent, you have this, So, man, I admire you because I understand how tough and lonely it could be.
Yeah, it's like entrepreneurship, but it's public. Because before I had a business me and my buddy were running, and if the business failed, it's like, fuck, whatever, it's just a business. But now it's like, well, if my personal business fails, then the person fails, which means I'm not good, right? So it's like this weird kind of state where I actually was like, at a point, I was like, well, that doesn't sound like a very bulletproof business where it's totally dependent on what I am, right? Because God forbid there's like some kind of wave where YouTube's like, well, we can't talk about this stuff, so you're just wiped, right? Canceled or whatever. It's this really weird world we have to navigate in now. But at our core, when you take a step back, you realize that there's happiness in other ways, right? Like taking it easy. And that's why I don't use my phone that much.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, well, I try not to,
It's
except replying to comments from fans.
I tell the story, and I know we're going long-winded here, but I tell the story all the time back to the phone and the screen time. And it's so scary with the 6 and the 2-year-old, both of them at the ages of about 1. When I would leave a room, if I left the phone on the table, just at the time they could walk, they would run over to me with the phone as if I left my limb at the table.
Whoa.
Like, Daddy, you left your arm on the table. Like, you can't leave without that. I'm like, I'm fucking on my phone all the time. I'm ignoring. My kids they see this as attached to me. They don't see this as a separate thing.
Whoa.
And, right?
Holy shit.
It's deep, dude. It's like, Daddy, cut your head off. It's on the table. Like, you got to pick your head up and put it back on. And
they think the phone is part of you.
And everything you're saying, man, I honestly, it is and sorry to be a segue into my business, but man, being connected to this planet is something we can't forget about. You could go anywhere. I don't care if you're in an urban center and you go down a laneway and say wicked graffiti, or if you're in the forest and you see these beautiful trees or mushrooms growing out of the ground that you've never seen, or animals, or look up in the sky.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to be connected to help with our mental health, and these phones are fucking everything up.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. And it's great that you can have a following on them, but it's so cool that you're giving these messages to your followers that take a step back at times too. I think that's beautiful.
There's a great quote, great way to end this. In order to change the game, you have to play it. Boom. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to check out Todd Shapiro on Twitter. You're on other places too. Are you still making content at all?
Not really. I'm so busy.
Just
back
the
to
mushy
CEO
game,
stuff.
eh?
Yeah, I am Toddy Tickles. It's an old radio name.
Yeah.
I'll probably get back to doing a podcast at some point, and I'll probably make it psychedelic themed. But man, CSC, we're traded under TRIPS. Speak to a financial advisor. Do your due diligence. RedLightTruffles.com is the website, or iMicrodose. You can go buy some merch on microdose.ca. Man, this is a lot of fun. Thank you for allowing me to just have a cool little
it was good, man. You're good at this.
And a breather.
I mean, guys, he was a former radio host. So he's really good at this. Most people aren't that smooth. But for those watching, guys, make sure you share this with your friends. The best way for a podcast to grow is word of mouth. So share it with your friends. Tell them your friend Jack started a podcast. Pretend we're friends. And if you made it this far into the episode, comment King of the North so I know you're an OG fan. And if you're on Apple, leave a 5-star review so that way everybody that watches knows that it's a great show. Anyways, we will see you guys next week. New episodes every single Monday, 1 p.m. EST. Love you all.